they try to act like, oh, political violence, it's the Democrats and it's the liberals. And it's like, actually, I mean, I'm not going to say that like a left-leaning person cannot be violent, because that would be like crazy to say that somebody can't be. But baby, y'all got the white supremacists galore, okay? Like all of them. You got the Proud Boys, you got the neo-Nazis. You have people that literally should be classified as domestic terrorists, because a lot of times that is what they are doing. They're engaging in domestic terrorism. And guess what? They all align with your side.
Yeah.
Including the KKK. So like, I mean, this is who aligns with that. So like inherently in like who you are, y'all are violent. Like y'all, and most of your violence has to do with people that's got a little bit of melanin. But nevertheless, like y'all are a violent group of people. Like you attract violent actors. And like, I'm sorry, I know they tried to make Black Lives Matter out to be most violent. That what about Black Lives Matter? No. So that's the thing. Like,
cognitive dissonance is amazing. Hey, welcome into the Chris Highland Show. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks so much for rolling up. Let us know you're here in the comments. We have a great show for you today. Essentially, the Democrats are on the brink. They're in full meltdown mode, and it is getting ugly. It has gone from just mere disillusionment to complete, to derangement, to now they are on the brink of, I would say, a civil war. They have started insurrection type activities. They have started extinction type activities. You've got Jasmine Krakimoto, based on some of her photos that I've seen, but Jasmine Crockett out there saying that no. Who we really need to be worried about are white men. Whites in general, actually, because you are the violent ones. And then she goes on to list several groups, okay? The Proud Boys, you could call them right wing. I don't know that they've been involved in any violent activities. I could be wrong. You've got, but the groups that she goes on to mention, the KKK is not a right wing group. The KKK is the enforcement arm of the Democrat Party and has been since the 50s. That's what it was designed for. That's what it was built for. That's how it came about. It was the enforcement, the racist enforcement arm of the Democrat Party to keep low-income whites and blacks in the South in line in their voting and in their quote-unquote behavior when it came to how they behaved politically. So no, that is not a right-wing group. Antifa is absolutely a left-wing group. The neo-Nazis have nothing to do with MAGA or the Republicans. Every single Republican out there continually decries them, including Trump. So you cannot pin any of that, but all of the violence that we have seen, the attempted assassination of President Trump, left wing. The burning down of Portland, of Minneapolis, of other cities, left wing, BLM, Antifa. Antifa and BLM have essentially supplanted the KKK as the new enforcement arms of the Democrat Party. They are the brown shirts. They are the equivalent of the brown shirts in Nazi Germany to today's Democrat Party. If you step out of line too much, or if they need something to happen on the ground, they call Antifa and BLM. That is their new enforcement arm. And everybody who looks at this Jasmine Crockett, because she is an absolute low IQ congresswoman. Now, I don't know that she was that when she first became a congresswoman. I mean, I think she was, but she had the shtick down. She went to private school. She grew up wealthy. Do not buy this gaslighting ghetto nonsense. The ghetto is all fake. The low IQ, I think that's real, but the ghetto is fake. Watch her interviews before she actually sat as a U.S. congressman when she first got elected, and she talks in absolute beautiful American English, the King's English without the accent. She has none of this ghetto nonsense. This is all a shtick because she thinks it buys her credibility. She thinks it buys her popularity, and it doesn't, at least not with the right people. Now, this has gotten so bad that she's actually getting called out by her own. We're going to dive into this clip of Carville just calling these people out, her and Ilhan Omar and others. Hey, Jean, happy weekend from Rhode Island. So glad you're here. Thanks for showing up. All right, let's dive in to James Carville and what he has to say about the likes of Jasmine Crockett, Ilhan Omar, and the others. Here we go. As we watch Democrats on the brink.
Yes, maybe you got plenty different, the Justice Party, the Working Families Party, the Socialist Party. Everything I'd ask is just don't use the word Democratic in any title that you have, because most Democrats that I know that are running for office don't want your name, don't want you to be part of the deal. Yeah, they would be glad to take your votes. Who wouldn't? Everybody wants to get as many votes as they can. Maybe you come up with your own name. And by the way, nothing against, after the election, can sit down and do like is done in parliamentary governments or governments around the world. You sit down and you say, okay, we want to be part of a governing majority, and we have these things that we want you to do to bring us in, and we have negotiations, and we figure a way that we can live with different parties, different titles, but under the same general philosophical roof. As I've always said, been very clear that most of the things that the faculty lounge or the Density Left wants, 85% of them I want to. We'd like to expand opportunity for people. We'd like to expand people that have health care. We'd like to do more to help young voters. We think that environmental problems are totally crushing that we face.
So you got James Carville spouting the normal Democrat line at the end, trying to sound reasonable. But before that, he says, get out of our party. Ilhan Omar, Jasmine Crockett, Pripal, get out of our party. We are done. We don't want the extremist nonsense anymore, because they know they can't win. They cannot win with these people. Jasmine Crockett will never carry a national election. Ilhan Omar will never carry a national election. AOC, I don't even think will ever carry a national election. All of these people, all of these extreme wacko squad Congress men and women all get elected in their D plus 20, 25, 30, 35 districts. They cannot appeal to independents. They cannot appeal to broader Americans. They will never appeal to white men voters in mass, and certainly not to the point you need to win an election. Carville's right. If they ever want to win, they've got to get them out of the party. And the Democrats are starting to finally wake up to some of this nonsense. The progressives have killed them at the ballot box. And the woke progressives will always eat their own, because you'll never be woke enough. Now, this is starting to FAFO. The FAFO condition is coming down hard. We're going to get to, I want to show you an ultimate piece of poetic justice in the first in the Ed Martin story, because we've got Trump giving them a dose of their own FAFO medicine. And then we've got the courts or law enforcement actually going to do the same. So with this, everybody knows who Ed Martin is. Now I'm going to play this clip. And we're going to dive into this because this is absolutely amazing. All right. Well, here's Ed Martin. Ed Martin was the interim U.S. attorney for D.C., for the D.C. metro area. He's the one who, as you know, recently the rhinos in the Senate, specifically Tom Tillis, who has his own major legal problems. Tom Tillis basically said he wasn't going to vote for Ed Martin to be confirmed. So Trump pulled Ed Martin's nomination. He was out on the sidewalk doing a press conference when this happened.
And so we need to get really focused. How you doing? Oh, whoa.
You are a disgusting man.
All right. So Ed Martin, who's done a phenomenal job in running DC as the US attorney, in prosecuting crime, and in actually starting to go after the weaponization of government. The reason that the rhinos don't want him there is he is all for the January 6th defendants actually getting them justice. He is all for prosecuting anybody who was involved in their illegal, the illegal forfeiture of their constitutional rights. So they needed to get him out of there. Well, there's been 3 layers now of FAFO in this. Okay, the rhinos got their way. Trump pulled his nomination. But he pulled his nomination for something even better. Check this out. The FAFO continues because Trump has absolutely trolled these morons. So he's no longer going to be U.S. attorney for D.C. Ed Martin has done an amazing job as interim U.S. attorney. Will be moving to the Department of Justice as the new director of the Weaponization Working Group. So they didn't want him as the U.S. attorney for D.C. because he's all too much about making sure that the J6 defendants get justice and that the people who helped illegally prosecute them get justice themselves. Well, now he's going to head that up at the DOJ. He will be Associate Deputy Attorney General and Pardon Attorney, more J6, and the Director of the Weaponization Working Group. He is still coming after you morons. At the same time, Trump made another announcement, which is sure to absolutely drive the libs and the rhinos nuts. And that is, I am pleased to announce Judge Jeanine Pirro. If everybody knows Judge Jeanine, she is awesome. She is on Fox. She's on the 5. She continually lambasts Tarlov. She, as the interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia, she was assistant DC DA for Westchester County, New York, went on to serve as county judge. She's been phenomenal. Now, I want to check out this clip because this is good stuff. All right, here we go. So here's a little bit more on the appointment of Jeanine Pirro as interim U.S. attorney.
Of the people who are filling out the Trump administration, more of these individuals who Trump is tapping to lead in key posts, especially at U.S. attorneys' offices nationwide. So remember, we brought you the news just yesterday that Trump pulled his original pick to be U.S. Surgeon General, replacing that name with someone else. We brought you that news. And now the same is happening for this key and coveted role there in Washington, the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. So live picture there. We now know that Trump has pulled that name, that original name, Ed Martin. He's pulling the nomination. And he is appointing on an interim basis someone that is probably very familiar to you. Fox News host Jeanine Pirro, Judge Jeanine. Here it is. Jim Lokay, our friend there at Fox 5 DC, has it. Trump announcing he's nominating Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as U.S. Attorney for D.C. hours after Ed Martin's nomination was pulled. Trump saying this, if we could take it full. I'm pleased to announce that Judge Jeanine Pirro will be appointed interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Jeanine was Assistant District Attorney for Westchester County, New York, and then went on to serve as County Judge and District First in the nation. She accepts with Judge Jeanine. Congratulations, Jeanine. And you see there
she is, Jeanine Pirro. If everybody doesn't recognize her from Fox News, absolute, I would say ball buster, but it's usually Tarlov that she's going after.
Host Brett Baer, just last hour, the tail end of his show on the Fox News channel, to which he told Fox viewers that Pirro was appointed. Baer saying this, quote, "She will be leaving Fox to take this position. We obviously wish her well." Back out live, though, to the White House. Well, what about Ed Martin? Why did the nomination get pulled? Well, Axios reporting this. Trump telling reporters Thursday morning in the Oval Office, quote,
So I want to give you an example of Jeanine Pirro and just how much of a firebrand she is.
You don't mean it.
You don't mean it. If you look at all of what's coming out of these court cases and the evidence, he's stiffed everyone from contractors. He's cheated on everyone that he's been married to. He demeans people. He can't even stop demeaning someone he's found liable of sexual assaulting. He's been in meetings and donor meetings with big oil saying, I'm going to make it right for you. Rich people, you need me for tax breaks. It's all about the self with Donald Trump. And he preys upon people who believe this toxicity.
We're
and
also
Nancy Pelosi,
stupid. We just,
I'm not saying
we
you're
don't
so
see.
stupid.
By the way,
very smart.
what you're talking about is the same stuff.
No.
The same stuff.
The point is there's a discomfort with Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton putting out factual realities. And the way that you know that
30%?
it is the case,
That's
I don't know if it's 30%.
Let me see that study.
There is no way that Donald Trump would be campaigning, calling Kamala Harris Kambala, unless there were racists in his party that he thought that would appeal to. Or J.D. Vance and this Haitian immigrant story, that he's promoting this complete false lie that Haitian legal migrants
hate them personally.
Are eating. What?
And the Democrats hate Republicans. As soon as he got elected, Republicans were unfriended by all the Democrats. They wouldn't speak to us anymore. The Democrats are the party of hate. The Democrats are the party that said he's a Putin asset, he's a Russian puppet. The Democrats are the ones who signed affidavits and lied to a court so that they could spy on a president of the United States. The Democrats are the ones who said that we're destroying democracy. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump. Let me tell you something about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is one of the most generous people you'll ever meet. He does all kinds of things that people have no idea about. And by the way, if he were selfish...
I love me some Jeanine Pirro. Here's another one, just to round it out before we get to the full-blown Democrat insurrection. Check this one out.
Something that is protected in Pittsburgh, a legal scholar. That's a yes or no question.
Well, I was going to say yes, and I know where you're going with it.
I'm glad you know. I'd like the viewers to know. Ruth Bader Ginsburg always said that Roe versus Wade is not something that is protected, and abortions are not protected by the Constitution. Okay, so you can talk about all legal scholars.
Do you think Ruth would like what's going on?
Let me finish. Ruth Bader Ginsburg says it's not a constitutional issue, okay? So that throws out your all legal scholars. Second point.
I love how she destroys Tarlov. She's going to destroy these people in D.C. It's going to be amazing. Now, as the final bit of FAFO in this whole situation, we go back to the woman who spit on Ed Martin, and check this out. F around and find out. Here we go. Justin, the leftist who spit on Ed Martin during an interview, has been arrested. U.S. Marshals arrested her, and she will be charged with 18 U.S. Code 111, which carries up to 20 years in prison. Wow. That is interfering with the official duties of a federal officer, which is exactly what she was doing. She knew who she was. She called him by name, and then she spit on him. So she is facing serious jail time. Now, I'm going to dive into our last story of the day, but it's all around the theme of Democrats are absolutely unhinged, on the brink of destroying themselves and possibly even civil war. So those of you who don't know, there was an insurrection riot outside of an ICE detention facility in Newark, New Jersey, on Friday. And you've got to see some of the things that happened. Well, the Dems are already trying to play the victim card because one of their own, mayor of Newark, got arrested. Check this out. We're going to start with these clips. Love everybody showing up. Thanks so much for being here. Here we go with one of the Democrat women who was there, LaMonica, I forget her last name. Anyway, check this out.
There is a law that says that we are able to do that as members of Congress, and that is what we got here to do. As soon as we got here, we were met with opposition. People were telling us that they're getting a supervisor, that they're going to get someone to come talk with us. We waited and waited. Finally, we went past the gate, and then we had to wait longer. We actually waited over 2 hours to get into this facility just to do a simple oversight visit. They say nothing is wrong with this detention center, that we can get in here, that everything, they're following orders. But once again, they delayed us from getting in here to see this facility. We waited in the waiting area for a very long time, talked to many staff members, talked to the warden of this location, and literally still waiting for ICE.
So she's boohoo whining, crying about not being allowed into the facility. Well, guess what? She's the only one. Actually, there was another congresswoman with her. Those are the only two in the whole group of violent thugs that tried to break into the ICE facility that had any right to go in. They can conduct an oversight visit. That is true. However, the way you conduct oversight visits is you would call someone at the facility and say, I am Congresswoman so-and-so. In this case, it's LaMonica McIver, and I'm going to show up to do an oversight visit. What time works for you? I will be there tomorrow or the next day. And you would organize it on a schedule so that people knew who you were, knew that you were showing up. You would not show up with a mob of violent protesters as she did. Here's the actual how she showed up. Oh, we waited. We were delayed. They wouldn't let us in. Well, guess what? When you show up like this, no one's going to let you in because, first of all, no one has time to figure out who anybody is. They can't vet people in this scenario. And check out the woman in red, LaMonica McIver, as she assaults ICE officers. Come on. So that is not the way to show up to a quote unquote oversight visit. That's not the way you do it. Now, one of the people who did not have any right to enter the federal facility, and that is the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Now we have another clip of LaMonica McIver actually assaulting ICE officers. Here we go.
Don't do that. You are escalating the situation. Don't tell him you can't put hands on there. You cannot. Fuck you. This is a shit show. You cannot. What? And you better not touch her either. Tell him.
Violent screaming. Violent actions, and then this all results in the arrest of the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, because he trespassed onto the ICE facility, which is federal, and was asked several times to leave and did not.
Get off of her! You cannot push it! You cannot Congress! You can't push members of Congress!
It was not peaceful from the get-go. As you can see, they're pushing against the fence. They're pushing their way in. You cannot push your way into a federal facility. I don't care who you are. They're frankly lucky they didn't get shot. Now, because federal law enforcement absolutely would have had the justification in a lot of that case to actually take lethal action. Now, check this out. So here we're talking about these Dems storming the ICE facility, holding MS-13 members, and they're doing it while a bus transporting criminals is arriving, while they're trying to transfer criminals. They're doing it at the most dangerous time. They are heightening the risk for the prisoners, for the ICE officers, and for every civilian involved. This is absolute nonsense. This is Democrats unhinged, violent, on the brink of civil war with their insurrectionist activities.
Well, I can confirm, as I have publicly stated, that we have put the mayor, Ras Baraka, under arrest. It's very simple, Martha. As I've said in the state of New Jersey, as Pam Bondi has said in the United States, we will not stand for anybody getting in the way of getting rid of criminals in this country. It's very simple. Unfortunately, the mayor has publicly for 3 days been saying that he's going to break in, eventually did break in, was given multiple opportunities to remove himself, failed to do so, and has been detained and will be charged.
And where is he being held?
F around and find out. Thank you. Start arresting these people. Thank you for arresting the 2 rogue judges who tried to sequester people from ICE. Thank you for arresting this ridiculous mayor who tried to force himself into an ICE facility. I hope they arrest the 2 congresswomen involved for assault. Thank you for arresting the woman who spit in Ed Martin's face. Thank you for arresting these people. The finding out portion of this equation needs to start happening in much larger volumes, if you ask me. But these Democrats are unhinged. They are violent. They are pissed off, and they don't know where to go because their party is an absolute train wreck. They've been completely wiped out by the woke nonsense. And the only really coherent group left, and it's not even coherent because they fight each other in the Democrat Party, is the ultra woke, progressive, nonsense, violent activists. And they will go to any extreme to force you to ascribe to their LGBTQ trans nonsense woke religion, which is what it is. So I want to show you these clips. Thanks so much for rolling up. We got Democrats on the unhinged, on the brink. Keep your head on a swivel. Remember, God is good. So if everybody could, please like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Chris Highland Show with everybody that you know. Remember, God is good. He is sovereign. Until I catch you next time.